Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is our class called Switch from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams. It's designed for all of you end users out there who are using Skype for Business, but are making your way into Microsoft Teams and you want to learn more about what does this look like on the front end? What does Teams do? Where can I find features I'm looking for? So my name is Sarah Wishmeyer. I'm your tour guide today, and let's go ahead and just jump in and learn more about this. So in our class today, in our session, we're going to be exploring how you'll be able to set up the profile and manage alerts and notifications that you receive in Microsoft Teams. We also want to get you familiar with really um, common features that you would use in Skype for Business, also in work every day, right? Chatting, attending meetings, staying connected, collaborating on files, that kind of thing. We want to introduce you to some advanced features like app mentions. There's lots of graphics, including Giphys. You can set up offline messaging. And then something's a little bit different is how you can use Teams for project collaboration, work group collaborations, for explore teams and channels. And so let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to begin with a quick overview of Microsoft Teams and how it looks in comparison with Skype for Business. So first of all, we know that Skype for Business is a very robust tool, right? You're using that for all kinds of communication and communication that's important for your day-to-day work. So you're chatting, you're making calls, you're hosting meetings or attending meetings, you're connecting with your contacts. So all these great communication options you have in one spot. Now with Teams, what we're doing is we're taking all of that and we're adding a lot more collaboration. We're adding more project management, work group management, and we're leveraging all of Office 365. But really what we're doing is we're creating a central location, a hub for teamwork. And that's going to really simplify your work because instead of having lots of different windows open and navigating between different apps and trying to figure out where do they put it, you have it in one central hub, one location where you can access your communication, your meetings, your files, your announcements, onboarding, all that great stuff all in one place, streamlining everything. And so if you think about the kinds of work that you do on a day-to-day basis, a lot of us have kind of three different kinds of work that most of us will do. We'll have our communication, we'll have our meetings, and then we'll have our projects that we're collaborating with others. And the communication could be chatting, it could be calls, it could be people internal, part of our network. It could be people outside of our network, like vendors, et cetera, sales calls, that kind of thing. And of course, the same thing with meetings. These could be people in your network or outside your network. You might be working on documents, presenting PowerPoint decks. Maybe you are reviewing content. You want to set up action items and have follow up on that. And then, of course, when it comes to projects, there seems to be that project life cycle. And we may be the project manager, maybe you are the SME or a contractor who's coming in at different phases. Maybe you're the sponsor who's just taking high level pictures of it. But it's great to have one source of truth where all that information is visible and everybody who's part of that project team can access it. And likewise, if you're part of a work group, department, or a line of business or a region, what have you, having one place that everybody who's part of that group, everyone in that tribe, if you will, has access to information. And then being able to organize those work streams will also be helpful as well. So we're going to explore how Teams helps us access all this information in that hub, that one central location, meanwhile utilizing Office 365 and additionally third-party tools as well. So let's start with communication. Mostly it's chatting, but we'll take a look at calling as well. When it comes to chat, I'm sure a lot of you for Skype for Business are using this all the time, right? You love the fact that it's rapid fire and you can get quick responses. And just like in Skype for Business, in Teams, you can see your status. Are you available or are you offline in a meeting? You can find contacts. You can start chats. You can share files with folks. You can add people to your chat groups. You could also progress or escalate your chat to a call, to a video. Hey, let's add some audio. I want to talk to you. And then also you can set up notifications. So maybe you're getting notifications through your phone, through Outlook, through pop-ups, or low key, fewer notifications. So you can customize all that in here. And some other things that you can do in Teams, Teams is going to let you add more rich text formatting to make it more relevant, and also adding graphics and memes to add a little bit of fun to your chat conversations. Maybe a great way to build rapport. Also, the conversations in Teams, this is interesting and new. There are persistent history. Everything is saved by default. The retention goes on, and that makes it easier for us to resume conversations with folks. We can search our chat history. We can search for topics and files as well as contacts. It also means that we can connect with people even if they are offline. So now, if you want to share a file with someone in a different time zone, or maybe across on the other side of the globe, or someone who's remote, no worries. You can access that information, and that person can then connect with you as well. And you may be offline, but you have information waiting for you when you're ready to jump back in. And when it comes for calls, some of you might already be using the calling feature. Maybe you're using that in Skype for Business, and that's part of your Office 365 plan. Uh, then your phone in that case might be set up, or your computer in that case might be set up as a phone. And maybe you're receiving calls or sending out calls to your computer. Well, you actually have a calling portal built into Teams, and it's very streamlined, simple to use. It allows you to dial out or access contacts, search your history, check your voicemail, audio transcripts, that kind of thing too. So again, nice clean interface, easy to use. And with that said, let's go ahead and just take a closer look at this in Teams. Let's see this in action. Jump in. Here we go. All right. So while we're here in Teams, what we first want to do is kind of get ourselves oriented with the interface, because it definitely looks a little different. One of the things you might notice right away is that there's a really big staging area, like this big gray area here in the middle. That's your staging area. And there's a lot to do, and there's a lot to see in Teams. So we've got that information set up. And then over on the far left-hand side, we've got this purple bar, this left rail, where your menus live. And in Skype for Business, we had horizontal menus. Now we've got these vertical menus, but you understand the concept, right? Where you can click to things like, let's check out the activities, right? What notifications we have. Let's check out our chats. Maybe you want to check out the meetings. And as you click on different items, different menus, you're going to get updated information. That's the big idea. And there's a white pane, we call that the content list, where it shows you the information for that particular menu. So in this case, my day planner. If I go to chat menu, click on chat icon, I'm going to see different conversations that I could quickly jump into. In this case, I have a conversation with Alex, and in the large staging area, I can see all that conversation and continue with it. Now, at the top, we also have some resources, some tools I want to point out. And at the very top right-hand corner is our profile badge. And you probably recognize this if you are using Skype for Business. It's also Office 365, Windows sign in, right? There's your profile badge. And this is going to be connected, your status is going to be connected with Office 365. Now, I will mention that some of you are in organizations where you're still in the process of migrating. You haven't completely made the migration, and you're still using Skype for Business, or maybe a hybrid, a little bit of both. And in that case, then the status might not be linked automatically. It might be linked to Skype for Business instead of to Teams. But once your organization makes that complete transition to Teams, or for you specifically, then you're going to have this automatically connected to your Outlook and to your calendar, because Teams is part of Office 365. It's part of that settings. I love the fact too that there's a feature called set status message, and it's kind of like a little out of the office assistant. So for example, let's say you're working from home for today or for the rest of the day, you could set that up, work from home. And at the bottom, you can set up your message to automatically stick around till the end of the day. You have some options about when it's going to clear that information. So fantastic for folks who are on the go, obviously. I also want to point out in the profile badge how you can access your notifications, because a lot of us want to be able to make sure we're getting the notifications the way we like them. So if you go to settings, you have several different settings in here. One of them is called notifications. It has that alert icon that you probably recognize. And it is related to the alerts or the activity in the far left menu at the top. And let's say when someone chats you, how do you want to get connected? So you can see the default is banner and email. That means you're going to get an email in Outlook, and a banner is a pop-up that shows in the bottom right corner. Right? If I kind of move my mouse around there, you'll see that banner popping up. So you can determine how you want that set up. And just a little FYI, if you scroll down here, there are some other ways that you might be exploring your notifications. So for example, let's say you do like the Outlook, missed activity emails. What's the cadence that you want them brought in? So maybe you want them once a day or as soon as possible. And if you are someone who likes getting alerts by sound notification, you have some options for customizing those. So again, I would encourage you to come to your profile badge, the settings, and explore your notification settings. If you are using the call plan in your system, right, you've connected that, then you might want to use the call feature. Or if you're using the mobile app and you are having the information sent to to another phone, it doesn't even have to be the mobile app. It could be rerouted to your phone. You can have alerts set up this way as well, so you can customize how your information is coming in, whether it's a phone or a phone with an app or some other device. I will mention also privacy. People are interested in this one because a lot of times we will set up do not disturb, but we might have a colleague who should be able to get our attention. Maybe it's our boss, maybe it's our admin, somebody like that who can say keep us connected. So again, feel free to use that profile badge, explore that, and get yourself set up with your notifications. We're going to come back and explore the search bar, which is at the very top. In Skype, we use a search for finding contacts. In Teams, we can use it for finding contacts, finding conversation topics, for finding files. We can even execute different commands. So it's a very robust search tool. And then also on the very far left-hand side, there's a button that looks like a pencil inside of a box. That's called New Chat. This is the way that we can start a brand new conversation. So let's say you're brand new to Teams. You just open it up. You have no conversation histories yet. And you think, okay, I need to get started. We can click New Chat and we'll go ahead and put in our conversation. So I want to chat with Miriam. I'm going to put her name in here. Miriam is part of my network. Teams is already connected with Active Directory. Teams is already connected with the Outlook. So I already have Miriam as a contact. She's already connected in there. What if I want to connect or chat with somebody outside of my network? No worries. I could just put that email address in, like joe@contoso.com or whatever it might be, right? And if your organization supports what's called federated access, external access, then you can actually chat with people outside of Teams, just like you could in Skype. And down below, we have a compose box. It's this white box down here. Click on it. And that's how we can get started with a conversation, right? Pretty straightforward. Let's try a slightly different scenario. Let's go back to that new chat button at the very top. We're going to chat with Miriam. I'm going to also add Alex. All right. I could add Grady. And what you're seeing is if you want to start a group chat, you can just keep adding these people in. Group chats can have at this time up to 100 people. You never know, it could be adding more. And we come down the bottom and we click on that compose box and we're ready to create a group chat. Now here's where it gets a little bit interesting. This is something different from how we use it in Skype for Business. We have persistent chat. So once you've created a chat with somebody, private or group chat, you can resume that conversation. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to use this new chat button here. I'm going to start chatting with Alex. I have a private conversation with Alex. Go ahead and click here. Come down to the compose. And actually, here's the conversation that Alex and I have going. And if I were to scroll up, I would see this goes back months, months and many months in there. And so um, the idea here is that we don't have to always start chats and start group chats. We have them connecting. And over on the far left-hand side, we call that the content list. You have your different chat conversations, here's a group chat with Alex, Grady, and Pradeep. Let's go ahead and click on that. And this is a way that I can resume a group chat that I've already started. And what if I want to add Megan in, right? I've got this group chat going. I want to add someone to the conversation. No worries. Over on the far right-hand side, at the top, you've got this icon that looks like a person, and you can add people in. And this way I could bring Megan in. And I have some options. One option is I could bring Megan in and not include any of the chat history. So she's going to see from this point forward, and we'll all be able to chat with Megan this point forward. However, what if she's part of our group? She's joining our group. I want to include all that information. No worries. We can choose include all chat history. She's going to see all of that information and she can get connected. I don't have to spend time catching her up because she has access to the conversations and the files that we've been working on. Or if for some reason, maybe we did a major shift recently and we just want to give her the last, I don't know, 10 days, 30 days, so that she's not confused by all the all the other chatter in there, we can do that as well. So it's again something we can do to add people to the group. And you do have the option of removing people from the group as well. People ask about this. If you needed to remove someone from the group, you could do that. Maybe that person's no longer a part of your team, who has moved on to a different role. No worries. So coming from Skype for Business, a lot of us, we think in terms of contacts. We're thinking, okay, I'm used to contacts, and you still can use contacts, but Teams, we think of it differently. I think of it more in conversations. I think of it more in terms of um, activities. I do want to point out though, at the top, there is these two tabs, recent and contacts. And so you can go to contacts, you can find different contacts that you might want to save. There's an ellipses here. And the ellipses, whenever you see it, it means more options. It means click me. So you click it and you can add contacts to your group. At the bottom of this pane right here, you have an option called create a new contact group. So you can click on that and jump in as well and create different groups as needed. But to tell you the truth, I don't really use this very much. I actually use the recent tab all the time. I use this as a way to resume conversations. If it's a group chat or a private chat that I work on all the time, I can pin that. There's a list of pinned items. If it's one that's not as frequent, I can just leave it here for recent. But for example, let's say here's a chat I have with this group called Quarterly All Hands. I'm going to go ahead and use that ellipses, and I can simply pin this item to the group. It's ready to go. And of course, we can always unpin as well. So I like that idea, the fact that we can even do a little bit of management on these groups. Click here. Maybe you want to mute the chatter on this particular group. Maybe you want to hide this group because you're no longer working with them. They're kind of um, off your radar, or maybe you're even going to leave that group, right? So again, lots of options you have for helping you get connected. And next idea is the search is also a way to help us find information. So I'm doing a lot of connecting with Alex. And when you use the search feature, it's going to help you find conversations that you have with this person. So I can find conversations I have with Alex or a group conversation that Alex is in. I'm even seeing some vendor information where Alex is connected that way. So again, great ways to stay connected, however it might be. All right, so you've got your conversation set up, and the next step is how do we actually talk and what are some ways that we can communicate? So let's look at down the bottom of this compose box. And at the very bottom of the compose box, we have several tools. One of them is an A with a paintbrush. We click on it, it's going to expand that compose box. It's actually a toggle. You can click to collapse, expand, etc. At the top, we have rich text formatting. So if you wanted to draw attention by making something bold or changing the color, using bulleted list, you have a lot of options in here for connecting. I think this is our highlight. This might be our font color. There you go. And let's go ahead and send out some messages. So thanks for reviewing the one pager. Maybe I want to do a quick shout out to Grady because he's been helping me with that information. So I'm going to mention Grady. Thanks or proofreading. We'll just put editing, less typing for me. And again, if I wanted to add some graphics, we have a lot of different graphic elements. I know you're used to emoji, but there's quite a few in here. And here's one of my favorites, the ninja. Lots of ways that we can stay connected. If we want to send an urgent message, you'll see there's an option here. We can change the delivery to urgent or even, or I should say important or urgent, which actually is going to send people frequent notifications to help get their attention. I need you, help me, right? So we have some options in there. There's also a paperclip icon so that we can attach files. And the paperclip icon allows us to find files from anywhere in our system, right? It could be on your desktop. It could be in a folder somewhere buried in your directory. You can bring that in. You can find it. You can even drag and drop files in. And you can also go to your OneDrive as a way to access information. So I'm going to do that. Adele has some files that she can share. And here's a marketing plan that she's going to share with folks. And when Adele shares this, everybody in the group has access to this file. Even if people are offline, they're still going to have access to this file. And we can click on this link directly to open up the file. We don't have to send it in Outlook and as an attachment, have lots of different versions. We have one place. Another great thing is at the top, you've got this tab line, conversation, files, vendors, etc. So if we click on files, this is a list of all the files that our group has been sharing. The files live in the cloud. They live in Office 365. So specifically, they live in chat. And if you're the person who shared it, it's in your chat. And then Teams automatically shares this information with the group. When you add people in, right, when you add people in and you include the chat history, you're also including access to these historical files as well. And let's go ahead and open up this meeting plan for Sky High. I didn't have to open up lots of different windows or hunt and peck for it in my directories or Outlook. It's right here. I can just open up all in the same window. I can preview it and come back and review it. At the top, there's some options for editing. So let's just look at the options. Again, this will vary depending on the app you're in, but we can edit it online. So in Teams, or in this case, open in browser. And that means I'm in the same window. I can make some quick updates as needed. Personally, I like opening up in the desktop app because I like having all the features of functions. So if it's Excel or Word or PowerPoint or what have you. Although some of my colleagues, they love being able to just edit on the inside the same window, right in the fly. So it depends on your preference. And we can also, over on the far right hand side, we can chat while we're working on this file. So maybe we're reviewing it, maybe we're editing it. We have our chat conversation showing on the side. The other interesting thing is that a lot of apps support co-authoring, right? You might have done co-authoring in other scenarios, Word, Excel, OneDrive, PowerPoint, Planner, Wiki. I mean, there's a lot of different apps out there. And that means that multiple people could actually be opening it and editing it at the same time, not just viewing, but actually editing. So Alex and I could be working on this collaboratively. And I'm going to go ahead and close this view and give you a couple more scenarios based on that note. So let's go back to our tab line, go back to conversations. We're all in the same spot. So let's say that our group was working on this file and we wanted to actually, I wanted to call them. I want to say, hey, can we talk about this file? So we have a couple options. One option is I can use the tools at the top to audio call or a video call if you got a webcam, and actually just progress this chat into a conference call. And it would automatically call all the people, kind of like a meet now feature, and we would all be available. And the people who could join, they could join right in. The people who couldn't, they'd at least see that conversation. Right now, Adele is joined through a web app as opposed to a desktop app. If I were in the desktop app, I'd even see an option to share my screen. There'd actually be another option. So it wouldn't necessarily be a call, I'd just be sharing my screen, which sometimes you want to do when you're collaborating. But another scenario is, especially with a group, you got a lot of people, you want to get it on the calendar so that we can pick a time when people are actually available, dialed in, and we can communicate. So at the very bottom, you get your calendar icon. And when you click that calendar icon to schedule a meeting, it's going to let you set up a meeting in Teams, and it's going to automatically invite everybody in the group. So everyone's connected. They're all going to get Outlook invites. It's going to show up in the Outlook calendar as well as the team calendar, and they can connect. And we'll come back and explore some more with Teams meetings coming up. But the other little FYI, little tip and trick is, what if you wanted to bring in Megan? We're not adding her to the group chat, but we wanted to invite her to the meeting, right? We could actually invite Megan in as well. And she could be joining our meeting. So we have some options in there too. I'm going to go ahead and close this. We saw that there were a couple more options down below. Most of them are graphics. So you might have noticed that there's a lot of graphic elements that are at play. And this is a great way to build rapport. You don't have to simply say, here's the file, thank you, right? Sometimes real conversations are about what's happening in people's lives. And so being able to have some humor, have some compassion, some empathy, that's going to build rapport. That's going to make these conversations more like we have in the real world. So in addition to your emoji, which we saw earlier, we also have Giphys, and these graphics, they change every day. They're topical, and you could even put in a search. So for example, you want to find your champions. Maybe you want to shout out to folks and say that they're awesome. Oh, this looks like a good one. And then we also have an option for stickers. And stickers are really a graphic with a comment. So if you want to put some phrase or some comment or even add a meme, these could be graphics that you download and add to your group. Might be some favorite graphics. But I have a colleague who loves graphics, and he will actually have conversations with few words and many graphics. That's the way he likes it. All right, so we've got this persistent chat history. It's evolving. People have access to it. One of the things that sometimes people ask is, can I make some changes to what I wrote? Yes, you can actually edit or delete your conversation. So let's go ahead and hover. There's an ellipses, right? You know what that means, more options. And it does give the ability to edit or delete anything that you wrote. In fact, I could even delete a file if I wanted to. I could edit or delete this file that I just posted. I'm not really deleting it off of my system. I'm deleting it from this share. Now, that in mind, people sometimes ask, oh, can I edit other people's comments? No. Can I delete other people's comments? No. It's all going to be connected. It's yours. And then the idea of the persistent chat, this is a different concept from what we're used to in Skype for Business. But by default, the retention is the persistent is indefinite. On the back end, your organization, they can set up different retention policies that map to the policies that really are best for your organization. So it's global. And if you're interested, I would encourage you to reach out to your internal support to find out how Teams can set up in your organization. Teams itself is very extensible, and it can be customized in many different ways. And so just keep that in mind. In fact, what you see in our demo might look different from what you have in your system. And so again, I always encourage people to reach out to their internal support to find out more insights about how is team configured in your particular org. All right, so the other thing I want to point out was the reactions. This is a great way to stay connected. And when people post information, you may want to react to it, right? So here's the reaction. Maybe this makes me laugh. I think it's very funny. I can connect. Here's somebody sending you a praise. Oh, thanks, Alex. Love that. And we actually use this as a way of a read receipt. So if somebody has sent a file, instead of having to chat in, got it, we can just use that thumbs up. Internally, we just let that means to us a read receipt. And then these different reactions are also things that we can track in our activity, so we can find out if people have been tagging us, flagging us, if they've been reacting to messages. It helps us stay connected in that respect. All right, so as I'm just reviewing here, making sure that we've covered all the things we wanted to in chat. The other thing I wanted to toggle back with is the call feature. Some of you might be using your computer as a phone, you might have a calling plan set up. And if you do, take a look for your calls menu, right? And again, Teams is extensible. You may or may not have this feature, or it may behave differently. So it depends on how your version is configured. But in the call option, it's very straightforward, very streamlined. You've got your dial pad, so you can dial out a number. You can set up contacts, so you have speed dial essentially. And you'll notice on the right-hand side that you have options to add speed dials, add groups. You have options for ellipses to add contacts. So you can make this as set up or as you want. Excuse me. And your favorite contacts are actually related to your chat contacts as well. Also, you have your history. So you can see incoming calls, outgoing calls, missed calls, and then your voicemail would be your audio or your written transcripts so that you can see what people are leaving you messages as. And you can even get, you'll notice a little red circle, you can even get alerts to let you know, hey, you've got some voicemail waiting for you, you've got some history waiting for you, something's attention. But I love the fact that it's very straightforward, it's very streamlined, it's easy to get connected as needed. So my goal is that as you're getting started with Teams, that you feel pretty comfortable starting a chat, right? You can use the new chat button as a way to quickly jump in to a conversation, or maybe you're not going to use the new chat. Maybe you're going to use your contact list to quickly jump into a existing conversation to resume it, or even your search as a way to get to connect. So that said, let's go ahead and recap here and move on to the next project. So we've been doing a lot with communication, with the chat calling, but the next big topic is meetings. And I know a lot of folks who use Skype for Business, they use it for the meetings aspect. And so our next goal is to find out what do meetings in Teams look like? What are some of the features? What are the tools? And how do we get connected? Well, the first of all, just like Skype for Business, in the Teams meetings, you can use Outlook as your primary source. So you can schedule meetings in Outlook or in Teams, either way, and it's a quick add-in. You can also invite internal or external attendees. Again, on your network, your IT would set that feature up, but then you can invite people outside of your network. Multiple clients. So maybe you are connecting through a mobile device. Maybe you're connecting through a web app or a web browser, I should say, or a desktop app. The mobile apps in Teams are very robust and very clean. And I think sometimes in Skype for Business, the mobile app was not quite everybody's favorite. They've done a lot of improvements. So you might actually be attending meetings remotely from your mobile devices, your tablets. You can also change devices as needed. And maybe you're even switching from your headset to a conference room phone. Of course, you can share your apps, you can share your desktop. And when it comes to participants, you can see who's been invited, who's actually attending. You can mute people, and you can also remove people if they weren't supposed to be in this meeting. And of course, you can record your meeting. So we have all these features available in Teams. Also in Teams, we're really focusing on this end-to-end process. It's not just while you're meeting, but Teams meetings has a history. So you can have conversations pre, present, post, all that information in one central space. You can take meeting notes. There's a built-in meeting note tool. It's a wiki-based tool, and it's collaborative, so multiple people can work on it. Or you could access a notes outside of the meeting and be taking those notes while you're attending the meeting. You can use the app mention, so you can actually call attention to folks or have action items that people can track back. And another thing that people really like in Skype for Business is that when we record the meeting in Teams, it's automatically uploaded to the cloud. So I think in Skype for Business, you recorded it and it lived in your desktop, and then you have to figure out like, okay, now how do I get it off my local system into a cloud where people can see it? In Teams, it's automatically in the cloud. It's in a product called Microsoft Stream, which is part of your Office 365. And everybody who was invited to the meeting, they actually have a, a link an easy link that they can use to watch the video. So really, really nice options. And then you as the meeting organizer or the recording owner, you actually can share that recording with others if need be as well. So let's explore this. Make our way into Teams. And first thing is I want to explore is how you might start a meeting. And there are two ways you would do this. You would either do this through Teams or you would do it through Outlook. And we're going to start with Outlook because I have a hunch that a lot of us use Outlook all the time. And maybe you even have Outlook open right now. It's very possible. And if you're in Outlook and you want to do a meeting, you just find the add-in. You click the add-in, you're ready to go, and that's it. You're going to see your information to connect to that meeting. That's a link. If you have the conferencing plan, then you're going to automatically get the conference bridge information. That dial-in information will be added as well. So very similar to Skype. Little quick note at the top, depending on how your organization is set up, maybe you see a Skype for Business meeting add-in. Maybe you see that Skype add-in. And if you click the Skype add-in, you're not creating a Teams meeting, you're creating a Skype meeting. So keep that in mind. And it's possible that your organization may have hybrids. They might have both add-ins at a certain time. It just, again, I encourage people to reach out to their internal support to find out, hey, what's the plan? How are we using meetings? And are we migrating all at once, etc. But once you find that add-in, that's really how easy it is for you to click on it. And if you're connecting with people outside your network, no worries, because you can send them this Outlook invite and they're going to get the join information so they can use Outlook to join this meeting in Teams that you're hosting. If you are hosting a message for people in your organization who aren't yet in Teams, maybe you're in a pilot product, no worries, because you're hosting the meeting in Teams and they'll be joining it in Teams with you, even if they don't have Teams yet on their system. And then, of course, everything that you would normally do in Outlook is still here, right? In Outlook, you might invite distribution lists. You might have optional attendees. You might do delegate access. You might have rooms, right? You're booking a conference room. A lot of times we'll have our online meetings in a physical location. Maybe you have recurring, scheduling assistant. So again, it's the same process. You're just changing to a different add-in. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and close this. The other way that you could create a team meeting is in Teams itself. We're going to go over to the left rail, this purple bar, and we might see the meetings menu, the calendar menu. It has that calendar icon. And so we have at a glance a quick way to get to our different meetings for the day. And this is connected with Outlook. So you might actually see in here Skype for Business meetings or non-Teams meetings, just meetings that are maybe like a dental appointment. It's not in Teams, right? I'm going to the dentist. So this would be your day planner here. In fact, Adele has this is an example of Adele's non-Teams meetings that she has on her calendar. And if we went to any one of these meetings, we could actually get the content, the connecting information. We could join. Again, if we have a conference plan, we'd see the dial in, the bridge information as well. And that's really how easy it is. And of course, as the organizer, you have options to edit the meeting in Teams or to edit the meeting in Outlook. Now, the meetings themselves also have a history. They have a chat built into them. So what I'm going to do is click on this link that says chat with participants. It's kind of in the middle top here, chat with participants. And what you're going to see is that the meeting itself has its own chat history and files, and it lives with the other chats, with your private and group chats. And here we have the scenario is this is a recurring meeting. Every day we have a sync and we meet regularly. We share content and sometimes we're just building rapport. Sometimes we're sharing information for the day. We've got our files that we have been working on throughout. We have meeting notes. So again, this is a wiki-based tool that's collaborative. Anybody can connect to this in that team meeting. We actually can do @ mentions built in here. And then we can have some other tools. So we might have, I think this is freehand, but might have whiteboard or freehand or other types of graphics or tools that we might be connecting as well. And so when it comes time to join, I just want to show you quickly what it might look like. Jump in. And the thing I like about this is it's very clean and streamlined. I remember Skype for Business meeting controls. We had them all over, right? They kind of like circling us like a pilot's cockpit. But here we have a nice clean set of tools all in one place. And then you also have access to your Teams tools over on the far left-hand side. But we have access to our camera and our speaker mic. We can share. You want to share your screen? Do you want to share an app? You can record. Let's go ahead and start recording here just so you see how that works. So you can make a recording. Um, it'll automatically alert people that the recording is being made. That's good. And I'm going to close that recording so we will just see what it looks like after it's finished. So everybody gets alerted that it's been stopped recording. That's good. We have wiki-based notes. So if we wanted to access our meeting notes, it's built in, it's integrated, and we can continue working on this. We can add different sections. We can add options as well. And let's say you want to use a different tool. Some people will say, I want to use OneNote, I want to use Word. No worries. This option, I could actually come over here, move it out of the way, and I could be working on a separate file. Maybe it's a file that I have off screen. Or maybe it's a file that I just have open in the same window and I bring it over. All right, there's my Word document. Can have that set up as well. So that's the big idea, is that you have a lot of flexibility of how you are connecting. And then my favorite part is the chat. So all the chat information is in here. And if I wanted to mention somebody, mention Alex, please review numbers. Okay. Great. So you get the idea of how it's all interconnected, how these all set up. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out in the meeting. And when we end up back in Teams. We aren't popped out of Teams completely. We're still in Teams. It's still that central portal. We have access to all the information. The recording, if we make one, it shows up uh, in the fly as a thumbnail that we can use to click, and it's automatically added, uploaded to the cloud. So our attendees can go ahead and click on this. And if you are the owner, right, if you're either the meeting organizer or you're the person who started the recording, then you can go in and into Microsoft Stream and you can actually manage that recording if you want to share it with other people as well. So you have some options in there of how you get connected. Now, that's really just the kind of an overall of meetings. We go a lot deeper with meetings. We have a class on specifically running effective meetings in Microsoft Teams. So I would love to see you come back, join us for that class so you can go deeper with the meeting strategies and features, et cetera, and how Teams is setting it up. But what I'm hoping is you're feeling pretty comfortable when it comes to getting started, that you can use Outlook, add-ins, you can use Teams, and you can create meetings, you can join meetings, and then you can access the different files that are part of that meeting itself. All right, as we are moving back into PowerPoint, we've been exploring our meetings, but the next thing I want to explore is something that's a little bit different. So I know we can do announcements in Skype for Business, but really thinking about managing projects, managing work groups in a central portal, using this chat conversation elements, using meetings to help us manage those projects. That's a new idea. So in this workspace, what you're able to do is create a team that gives visibility to everybody. And these teams can have different conversations or different work streams, and each work stream can share files. We can share meeting information, meeting notes. We can have different apps that are available for us. So we're centralizing all this information. It's a great way to have control over document versioning. It's a great way to collaborate on document business processes, and even having that one source of truth. We can bring people in from different time zones or different units and get more inspiration, more collaboration. We can also connect to different apps. And so we can have right in our fingertips access to things like OneNote or Power BI or Microsoft Planner, or there might be other third party apps that you use all the time. So, how do we go from here? Let's kind of move setup and think about what kinds of teams that you're in. What kind of work groups are you in? And what kind of projects are you part of? Right? Maybe you are um, in a department. Maybe you're in a line of business. Maybe you are a regional team. For projects, it could be something like you're rolling out a new product or a new service, or you're moving, or, there's a summit meeting, a summit conference that you're planning for, a fiscal year event, party, maybe milestones, budget. Seems like there's always budget meetings, right? So depending on what kind of projects or group that you're part of, you can set these up. The team is going to define who has access. The team is the group. And then the channels are part of that team. They live inside the team. They help us organize the information. So if a team is like a house, then the channels are like the rooms in that house that help us keep those workspaces organized. Okay. So let's explore some of this here. All right. So we're going to switch gears to our teams and channels. And in our teams and channels, we have a lot of options. We can get set up teams based on departments, right? Like sales, marketing, for example. Maybe you have the based on projects, fiscal year event planning. There's a product rollout project. Maybe you have a role. You're part of the Office 365 champions. You're part of the help desk, or you're a SME. You're the community volunteer team. Maybe you're part of the developing and testing. You're a business analyst or a QA, right? Or maybe you're part of a region, right? There's lots of different ways that you might be connected. And if you're in that team, let's take a look at membership, then you would be a member of this team. And if you're a member of the team, you have access to it. Now, when you first jump into teams, you may already have some teams that you've been added to. It's possible. Or it may look very blank, right? It could be like, hey, I got to get some teams. At the very bottom of your screen, there's a button to join or create a team. So let's click on this. And here's where you're going to start accessing different teams. If you want to join a public team, you're going to see these public teams. You can just click in and self enroll. If for some reason you wanted to join a private team, you might see the private team listed, or you might have to request access. And maybe someone's given you a code and you put that code in, and then they can use that code to get you integrated into that private team. Now, when it comes to creating a team, this is a feature that you may or may not have the ability to do. So again, reach out to your internal support. Hey, am I the person who creates a team? Is it somebody else in my work group who creates a team? Or maybe I apply and the help desk creates a team for me and then makes me the owner, right? There could be different strategies and how it's set up. But if you are the person creating a team, you're going to click create team, and it's a wizard. It just walks you through the steps. And so you can build a brand new team from scratch, or even copy an existing team. And then you can choose who can access your team. If it's a private team, then people will have to get permission to join. So as a team owner, you control who has access. If it's a public team, people can join themselves. And then if it's an org-wide team, this is a feature for organizations that are 5,000 or fewer. And this is a way you could set up a team that auto joins the whole group in there. So you have some options. When you click private, you're going to set up what the team name is and description. And again, if you're the person creating the team, you might still want to reach out to your support and find out, is there any policies or governance about naming conventions? Do we have some best practices within our organization about how we name our teams? So keep that in mind. And if you got a lot of teams, you may want to be in the practice of putting a description in there that helps differentiate your team. Even if you don't have a lot of teams, that was still a good idea. Put a description in. And so you set up your team. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Give it a moment here. Oops. There we go. Okay. And once you have the team set up, you're going to get prompted to add members and channels, but also the team's name itself has a little dot, 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 right? More options, ellipses. So we'll click that and we can manage the team. We can add channels. We can add members. Uh, I don't want to be in this team anymore. We can jump out of it. We can edit the team. Some of these features you can only do if you're the team owner. Some of these features you can do even if you're not the team owner, if you're a team member. So just FYI, it just depends. And then the teams themselves, you can expand or collapse, right? So this will help with your workspace. When you expand the team, you're actually seeing the different channels. And every team has a general channel that will always be at the top. And you can also have other channels added. Sometimes it's the team owner who's adding these. Sometimes it's the members who are adding these channels in. And these channels are going to be sorted alphanumerically. And then the channels themselves can be visible or you can hide them away because you could have a team with a lot of different channels that aren't as valuable for you. So you could go ahead and hide or show channels. And you can also set up channel notifications. We talked about activity alerts. And if there are certain channels that you want to follow, you can make sure that you are following those posts. So some nice options for the stay connected. And I will also mention that the teams themselves, you can hide. You can hide the entire team. Let's just scroll down. And your hidden teams will show up. So this is a way that you can organize your workspace by having hidden teams and visible teams and even drag and dropping them in what order helps you stay organized, right? This is your desktop here. Now within the teams themselves, let's go ahead and open this up. You have these different channels that are going to organize conversations. They're going to organize files, meetings, related meeting topics, different apps. And so in Northwest, you've got a welcome. This is really more it's just helping people get oriented, understanding the team. So it's kind of like an onboarding. Here's what the team does. Welcome. But then we've got a channel just specifically on forecasting. And so all the information here is geared towards forecasting. Everybody in the team has access to all these channels, but it's just nice that we have a streamlined place for all of our forecasting information to live. And we can have our files set up. We can have other apps. Maybe you love OneNote as much as I do, and so you can have access to your OneNote element in here. And this could be a shared OneNote experience that everybody in the team could then collaborate with. There could also be, let's give OneNote a chance to just load. It's taking a moment here. You can see it almost coming. So depending on how you set this up, right? Maybe you have it for different task options or links or whatever you use OneNote for. You might have some other apps. Here's Power BI. What I like about Power BI is that there's usually somebody on the group who loves Power BI and knows how to set it up. And there's usually maybe more than one person on the group who's like, I love Power BI, but I don't know how to set it up. And so we have these apps that everyone has access to, and we can go in and take advantage of the analysis and the reports. And so we can get bird's eye view. Hey, I'd love to know more about the growth opportunities. I'm seeing there's a tab in here called growth opportunities, and I can click on that to find information, right? And there, it looks like there's even more. I think there's planner set up, progress report, planner. And the big idea is there's a lot of different apps, and these are not even just all of them. These are just how it's been set up. And at the top, you've got this plus sign where you can add other apps. And again, part of it will be connected to what's been approved on your organization's end. But I love the idea that there are Microsoft apps, and then there are also second party and third party apps as you scroll through, and you'll see, wow, there's a lot of options in here. And some of them are third-party apps and you might need a subscription for, right? Just keep that in mind. Some apps you're like, I've never used that one before. And other apps like, oh, I love that app. I'm so glad I connected in. But again, so this can be somewhat customized. I'll give you an example. YouTube. Some organizations do not allow YouTube to be added or just, that kind of activity in their internal networks. And so you wouldn't have access to that app. Other organizations encourage YouTube. They want to have different videos that they watch, marketing, training, what have you. And so they would let you put in a YouTube video as an app there as well. I love the fact that we can connect SharePoint and other tools in here. And with our files, we have access to the back end. It's all in SharePoint here. And really, if you think about this as a scenario, you are setting up a work tribe, you're creating your different channels to help you stay connected. Here's a product rollout. And these channels just help you have all the different work streams, and each channel itself can have its own files, its own meetings, its own meeting notes. In fact, let's show you special events. This one's a great one because it has meeting notes. There's a lot of meeting notes that are connected. And so people have access to apparently there's not a lot of meeting notes in there, but you get the idea is that people have access to different group meetings. So that's our big idea of how these projects work. Compliance, onboarding, project rollout, initiatives, that kind of thing you can manage here. All right, quick recap, because a lot of times people are saying, okay, that looks really cool. Why don't I just use chats and meetings though? Why am I still using channels and teams? And that's a really good question. And I think what it comes down to is with channels and teams, it's more about visibility. So the people in that team has visibility to all the information. Whereas I think of channels as more like, or excuse me, I think of chats as more like an on the fly kind of a one off as needed conversations, and kind of like those day to day, as opposed to the information I'm really tracking that's being part of that project, being part of that history, it's being part of that work group. Your chat conversations, they are going to be accessed through chat. Anyone can start a chat conversation, a private or a group chat. And the people in that conversation, whether it's a private or group chat, are the only people who actually see the information. So if you've been invited to a chat, you can see what's in it, but you can't see it with what's in it if you're not invited. And the chat information does live in Office 365, but specifically it lives in OneDrive. And so if you upload a file, it lives in your OneDrive, and then it's going to be shared with people in that chat, that group. But I think it's great for connecting with specific colleagues, maybe those private one-off conversations, maybe you're building rapport with folks. That's going to be some examples of where you might use that chat, rapid fire communication. Whereas channel conversations are part of a team. And the team and the channels are more robust. You can have more people in a team, for example. A team can also have an owner, and the owner can set policies and hierarchy. So an owner can say, well, everybody can create channels, or only owners can create channels, right? So the team has a little bit more structure and hierarchy. If you're part of the team, you have access to that information. It's public. So the idea is that a team is designed to be one source of truth. It's all about visibility and transparency. Again, it is more robust, and so it's backed up through SharePoint, which is more robust than OneDrive. And so there's more options for the management on the back end as well. So I love the way of you have this way of streamlining teams or project conversations. We have a place to keep everybody in the know and maybe reduce some of those hallway conversations. So that gives you an overview. Again, there's a lot of flexibility in chats and channels, but that might help you kind of get an overview, especially because channels are kind of new for us moving from Skype for Business into Microsoft Teams. I did want to mention devices. So there's a lot of ways that we can stay connected. We could connect through Mac, through PC, maybe even through our mobile devices. We have a very robust mobile app in Teams. And so I encourage you, if you haven't already, to download that app and start using it alongside of your Teams desktop app. And what if you wanted to connect with somebody who doesn't have the ability to add the app, right? Maybe an external user. No worries. As long as that person has access to the internet, then we can use any connection that connects us, major browser, desktop app, mobile app. As long as we have access to the internet, we connect anytime, anywhere. right. So the next steps for you, because there's always more to learn, right? We were exploring how to really get started when we're making that switch. So you saw how you can use the profile to help you set up your notifications and get kind of balanced and settled in with your Outlook and your call notifications. How you can chat in Teams. You can chat, you can use calling, etc. It could be a private, it could be a group chat. Definitely, you can use meetings and you can collaborate with others. You can create those meetings or start those meetings in Outlook or in Teams, as well as join those meetings through Outlook or Teams. But we also explored that we have some more tools to help us stay in alignment, and those teams and channels is a great way to have projects and also work group options. I would love to see you come back and take more training with us. We do have a class specifically on meetings, and we have other classes as well. So if you want to get a deep dive with meetings and learn more about strategies and features, come back and take that class with us. Also, it's a great way to get started is just start chatting with people. Chat with one-on-one, maybe do some group chats. Another thing you might consider doing is hosting a meeting. Actually, set up a meeting and invite folks in. They might be people already in Teams, maybe they're not, and just see what happens. Just do explorations. I would love to see you start working with teams and channels, even if it's a sandbox to kind of get started, or maybe you already have some teams and channels that start poking around and seeing how you can contribute, what you can learn from that element. We have a lot of resources here that are going to help you continue learning. One of them is our live training. So if you want to come back and take some live training with us, aka.ms/, Teams Live Training. And again, we'd love to see you back here. The support.office.com has a lot of resources, a lot of quick starts and documentation so that you can continue learning more. It also gives you links to other videos. And then we do, of course, have that some links to more how-to videos. These are more short little bursts. And so if you're thinking, I want to remember how I did chats, you don't need to watch this entire long video again. You can just go to aka.ms.teams training. And then a great quick start that's been set up. This is going to give you a comparison with Skype for Business side by side with Teams. And so it's going to help you see how one product works and how you would do this in Teams. So if you're looking for how to start a meeting, it's all great documentation for you to get started. So with that said, I just want to say thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in more training. Have a great day.